So this is the a deconstruction of how I made my final poster. So I'll start by adding all the layers one by one in the order that they lay on top of each other and explain how I made them that way, so if I crop them or whatever. So the first layer is called layer 4. So this I just shaded with one of the normal brush tools in black and turned on the opacity towards the edge. I would have made it really soft, this the other way, and made it quite large so that I could put it in here. So the next layer is layer 1. I don't think that actually has anything on it. The layer 3, so I took this photo separate from the day that I took the photo of the tree. So I enhanced the settings on here. So by using the image adjustments, where I enhanced the brightness and contrast and then saved it as a new layer, which is why it's not showing up now. So all the levels were adjusted so that the red was coming more through, and as well as the yellow. I also added yellow here because there was a tree here and it was interfering with the tree that I added on top on another layer, so I blended this in well so that it didn't show. Layer 5 I added, and it was the sky. I kept layer 4 even though it was underneath this, in order to cover up where the line is, so you can still slightly see it, but you can't in the final product. So this was just a blue layer, which I selected the purple colour towards the top of this image here from layer 3, and then I moved the cursor along to where it was blue so that it would blend better, and I then moved the brightness down a bit when I was trying to blend it in here. And then I just simply selected size like 2 or 3 and just went along with white and added some stars. So this was actually a screenshot from one of my cuts at the time when I was making the poster, because I felt that I needed to have that connection with the character, and for that to happen she needed to be larger than the small image down here when it comes up. So I thought that this would allow them to connect with the character. Also, being a screenshot, it meant it was of low quality, but it was actually higher quality than it looks right now because I feathered out the edges in order for it to look windswept, and added some hair in here so that it would look windswept and therefore just give the effect of being out at night and create enigmas. Here we go. Here's the adding in the rest of the image starting to come together. So this is actually an image I took. However, I had to delete the entire background, which took forever. So if I zoom in, these are actually drawn on because I couldn't delete, all the background was this colour, but it was all different shades of blue, so I couldn't delete like the whole tree without I can delete the whole sky without deleting most of the tree. So for all of these bits up here, it is actually the tree with a few added bits in. However, this entire bit deleted itself, so using the bits that didn't delete, I connected it up by drawing it on and matching the colour. I don't think you can really tell, which is good. Yeah, and then there's the rest of what I drew on because I thought I should add leaves and stuff to match the middle bit of the tree. So here I just went around the edge with a shading tool, really simple, and yeah, there's not really much more to say about that, just with a simple brush tool to shade around the edges, because I thought it would just bring it all together really. So here I just added the names. I had to make, because his name is actually like a lot shorter than my sister's name. I was going to change their names, but then I decided to just extend it and make it slightly bigger, but I think it evens out quite well. I also had the Sarah Growick over her, obviously to indicate that that is Sarah, and then when the boy is added in here, then it looks like John. So this was actually a font that I got off the internet. It is actually one of the Disney fonts for, I believe is it Tangled, or it might be Beauty and the Beast. So I made it my own by going around the edges and getting rid of all of the bits that stuck out from when I imported it. The reason for having a Disney font was actually a last minute type idea. So it does hold significance though, because I thought that aiming at a female teenage demographic for my target audience meant that they stereotypically would have been the target audience for Disney films when they were about like 5 and growing up basically. So this kind of font would be recognisable to them, and it would act, because it's a romance film, it would act and catch their eye obviously as a romance film, because obviously all of the Disney princess Disney films are to do with romance. And then it also holds significance because it's like the older version of a Disney film, whereby the fairy tale isn't quite a fairy tale and it doesn't end happily ever after, etc. So I thought that this would really aim towards my target audience, and just really hold significance in terms of how the poster comes across and how it captures the eye of that particular audience. So here I added in John, and this was actually another screenshot from the beach scene in my trailer where they're both sat on the wall in this position, and I initially was only going to have the girl on the poster, so that's why she was the only one I took a photo of, but I felt that it needed to have him, even if it only slightly. It's also important to mention that in the photo it actually has her camera hanging from the tree with a photo on it. You can't see the photo, but you can see it's glowing there. So obviously the camera in my trailer is significant to her and to the memory of her sister, so I thought that was a good way to connect it all together and really pay attention to the mise-en-scène in the shot. So yeah, John's added in there. So I did that by taking a screenshot, importing it into the photo, removing the whole background and adjusting the brightness and contrast onto him so that it fitted better into the thing. So this is actually the strapline of my film, even though this is the only one of the 3 products that actually includes it. But again, I continued using the Disney type fonts, as I thought that this would go well and encourage a female audience to watch it. The fact that the beautiful is in like a more beautiful font pays attention to the mise-en-scène and the font types, and creating like a different feel for that and making it stand out. So the side put in here, I actually used to, in the first couple of drafts it wasn't on its side, and then I thought that it would make it look more unique, a unique selling point of it, I guess, and also act as an almost like logo for it, which I then used in my magazine as well. So this was also a suggestion from one of my focus groups, So I included that, and I really like it. And the fact that it's in between them, in between their knees, implies that there is a barrier between them and something that they've got to overcome. And I thought that would create a lot of enigmas in that. I included the "the" here, so that again, just continuing with the font. It's in really small but in the middle, so that draws the focus to the headline, but also being "the" just as a determiner. I just had it really small, but obviously in the middle, to create a symmetrical poster. Okay, so group 11, I got a bit confused when I was working with the fonts here, and I was trying to group all of the fonts together so that the whole building block was together, but I also had to do individual layers for the building blocks. So there's a bit of a messy group here, but it all comes under group 11, so I'll just select group 11 and explain what happened. Oh, okay, so maybe it doesn't. Okay, so group 11. So, essentially group 11 is made up of all of these individual words. I was going to make it one cohesive thing, but I needed to keep moving it around, and it was all being affected by the different letters, so I basically decided that it was better as separate layers. Yeah, group 11 makes up the building block. The building block is quite small because initially it was actually really big, and I realised from looking back at my deconstructed posters that the building blocks were actually really small and a lot smaller than I thought. So yeah, I altered that. So the rest of group 11 consists of these film production logos. These are actually the film production logos that the film production companies that I researched and thought would actually produce my film. Though I found that the most likely company from the genre-specific deconstructions that I did, and from the research that I did, would be Constantin Films, and as a subsidiary company to Lionsgate. So they produced Love, Rosie, and that was one of my main inspiration into textuality texts, just due to the way that it was presented and the fact that it was a mixture of comedy, social realism and romance. So that is why these are on here. That was also a convention of posters to have them along there. Another convention of posters was for the release date to be put here. So this also connects to my to my magazine and my trailer, all of which say that the film will be released in April at some point. The poster is the only one that actually says April 3rd, which is actually my birthday, but it actually really worked really well with when all my products would be finished. So furthermore, if I zoom in here, as a convention of posters to have the social media links here, there is a small bird. I made the opacity really thin so that it wouldn't stand out too much, because blue didn't fit onto my poster so well, at least not bright blue. So this is an actual social media account that I used, and it means that in realistic terms, someone who saw this poster could go and follow my account for my film. But obviously, if it wasn't a real media product, this may actually be an actual social media account that was properly used and could actually promote the film and continue the discussion online to create the hype and about the film. Obviously, in cinemas, April 3rd. The April 3rd is in larger font and standing out even more. The in cinemas is still in bold and in quite large font. This just provides practical information to the audience and just further highlights that it is a film and it is coming out soon and that they need to go watch it. Essentially, that is all that is of my poster. I forgot to say when I did the tree, so right here I blended in all of the colours, and here, because it was standing out too much and was too blue, so I had to shade a bit of black in here, because just due to the colour of the night sky when I actually took the photo of the tree and the grass. I also, when I took that, I worked with the contrast and the brightness in order to make it make it work with the rest of the poster. However, I like the green in the contrast to the night sky. So that's my poster.